Hey, what's up everybody? Shano here. I am your Alpine urban gardener. Today we're going to transplant the seedlings that we planted 2 weeks ago into larger containers. And we're going to separate the dual plants as we planted them last time. Stay tuned and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. It started with just a plot of land that soon became our garden. It started to produce and now it is even bigger. We've added things to improve it and now it produces even more. Welcome to the Urban Alpine Garden. Welcome back. As I mentioned, today we're going to be separating our seed pods into individual plants. A lot of these have dual plants in them, as you can see, and we're going to separate that out so that the plant has the best opportunity to grow the best independent root structure. And we're going to put it into one of these little bit larger containers. It's very important as you grow to keep updating the containers as the root structure grows. You don't want anything to get too root bound. We'll definitely talk about that more in another episode. To get started, I'm going to bring back our handy dandy mixing bowl for soil. This is kind of how I get started for everything. In this, I'm going to stick with black gold. Today I'm going to use this brand of soil, and I'm going to upgrade it a little bit. I have a few additives I'm going to add in. One of those is going to be I'm going to add in some fat castings. I'm not going to go full strength. I am going to cut it back a little bit because these are seedlings. I don't want to burn the roots. In addition, I am going to add in some of the seabird castings as well. Again, same thing, not a full dose. I don't want to burn the roots. Another thing, I will add in a little bit extra, even though the potting soil does already have some worm castings in it. I will add extra worm castings. This particular brand is the Worm Gold Plus. Bird Treasure as the brand of the other two that I have. The other thing that I do, I'm a firm believer in the Boogie Brew brand, so I am going to mix in a little bit of the Boogie Brew. It also has a little bit of the worm castings in it as well. What the worm castings does is it boosts up your phosphorus, which helps root growth, so it's definitely good for the plant. The next time that I go into a larger one, I'll probably do a full strength mix of all of these. I don't have an exact ratio. I'm just going to put what feels a little bit in here, roughly a tablespoon of each into a gallon-sized bowl. And then I'll mix that on a larger scale. I have a 6-gallon bucket over to the side. But let's get started. All right. So I cut away real quick to go ahead and add the soil to the bowl. Again, this is the black gold. I had really good luck with the black gold as far as a seed starter, so I'm going to continue on with their organic compost. The fertilome that I used, I didn't have as good of results on the germination, so I definitely highly recommend the black gold right now for starting your seeds if you have not done that yet. Again, I've got the black gold in the bag. I'm going to use a handy dandy red Solo cup shot glass because that's what I found. And they have the little line on here. I'm probably only going to put it up to the line of seabird guano in here to get started. A little much. That'll do. I'll just sprinkle that right on the top. It's still a little much, so we'll put the rest of that away. And then we're going to do the same thing with the back guano. As you can tell, it's kind of a lightish brown color, so you can definitely tell it's different than the soil. Found the measuring cup I was missing. Alright, same thing, right up to the line on the little shot glass. If you don't have the little red Solo cup shot glass, you can just do this with a standard, teaspoon, tablespoon. I would do no more than a tablespoon per gallon of dirt that you have here. That, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the worm castings. Again, the black gold that I have did have a little bit of worm castings in it already. Just bumping that up for a maximum production of the root system. I don't think you can probably grow straight in worm castings. I don't recommend it. You just probably could do it, but it's really good stuff. Putting it directly on plants last year, I would put it on one day and my plants would grow 4 inches literally the next day. So great stuff. I'm going to put in. I pre-mixed my Boogie Brew. It does come in 2 separate packets when you purchase it. I can put a link down below of where to get it. They do not sponsor me. I just really like their product. So again, going to use just a little bit more. I'm going to go about half a shot glass on this, tablespoon and a half if you're counting. And that is kind of my witch's brew right here. So then I'm just going to take it and I'm going to mix this all up. And just get it nice and evenly coated. Some of the stuff's sticking together, so I'm going to try to break it up a little bit. But we will be right back here once I get this good and mixed, and then I'll show you how to separate the seed pods. And then we will get everything up and running from there. Alright, so I did get all of the soil and all of the bat guanos and other fertilizers mixed together. Again, everything I do is organic, so I definitely recommend going that way. You don't have to. The chemical ones work just as well. I just figure why put chemicals in my body when I can put natural things in my body. Speaking of natural things, just like we did when we planted the seedlings, it's good to get the initial soil damp first. So I do have a picture here of rainwater. As you can tell, it's a little off-colored, a little green. This has sat all season, but I've had it with the lid open, getting some oxygen in there so that it's ready to go today. Oxygen also helps your plant roots grow. So, you know, if you're able to aerate your soil, or your water a little bit rather, if you're able to aerate your water, you can actually get extra oxygen in here, which will promote the root growth. They like oxygen at the roots, and then they put out oxygen up top. So it's kind of a cool trade. Again, we'll just mix this up kind of lightly, get it nice and damp. Again, you don't want this soaked. You just want it kind of the consistency of a damp sponge, if that makes sense. Again, it's the same way we did when we planted seedlings 2 weeks ago. But yeah, this is pretty quick. It doesn't take super long. But I have to get it all mixed up really well. Once it's mixed up, this here's maybe just a little bit more wet than I would like it. Let me get the water out of the way so you can actually kind of see this. It's just kind of wet. It's still you know, fluffy. It's still pliable. But this is about a good consistency. Like I said, this is just a little bit wetter than I probably like it, but overall it's in really good shape to get us started. So super easy. What I like to do is throw that to the side. No, not really. I like to take this and actually fill it up to get started. I don't pack it heavily because I like to go and stick my finger in here and kind of make a big circle, as you can see here. Doesn't have to be super pretty. I like to get 2 of them started. These containers are super cheap. As you can see, I just paid 15 cents. I've seen them as high as 26 cents. You might be able to buy them online in bulk, a little bit cheaper, but if you have a local garden store, definitely recommend supporting those guys. They're working hard for you. So, you know, show them some support by you know, purchasing their products. If you have to pay a couple cents extra, you have it faster. You don't have to pay shipping. Again, just a hole in the center. And then today we will actually start. I'm actually going to start with my serranos from last week. These things kind of stick together. Starting with the serranos just because these all go in a certain bed. My yellow ones are my chilies. I did have 2 sets of seeds that I did at home that did not germinate. I tried to put them in the freezer here the last couple of weeks so that they could have a winter cycle. I've got them currently coming down to room temperature here in the next day or two. I'll be planting round 2 of that. Hopefully having that winter cycle is going to cause those seeds to want to pop out of the ground. I'm going to keep trying on the other set. I've been watering them every day for 2 weeks, but there's absolutely nothing that has popped up yet. So I think it just missed that winter cycle. That should hopefully fix it. I'll do another video later and we'll talk about that as well. But as you can see, with the serranos, we've got 2 plants per pod. This is the only one that did not have a second plant, and that's out of 24 seeds that we planted. I had 1 seed not come, so we had a really good germination rate. Again, I used the black gold soil. So to get this started, you just pop out the little section here from this 6-lit. Sometimes I need a little extra persuasion. Doesn't matter much. We're going to break it apart here in just a second. There it comes. Alright, let's place this back to the side. As you can see, the roots have actually already started to come and work their way around here. They're actually doing really good, looking really healthy. Hope you can see that. I don't know if that'll, focus in it or not. But giving it a try. We've got a pod here and a pod here, so what I like to do is cut the section this way, and I just simply do that by squeezing it. I try to be as careful as I can so I don't actually break the roots apart, just kind of separate them a little bit. They need a little bit of finesse. If you do break a root, it's not the end of the world. The plant will forgive you. There we go. So 2 separate plants, and we'll put one in one pot and one in the other pot. If the root ball falls, or if the soil ball falls apart a little bit, that doesn't matter a whole lot. I like to go ahead and push that down a little bit. I don't pack this down near as hard. I leave plenty of room for the roots. So that is ready to go. One more time, just kind of a light packing here. One root sticking up there. There we go. Make sure the roots are all buried. That's probably the most important part. Again, just a light pack, nothing too hard. At this point, some people like to really bury the plant during this particular planting while the stem's still relatively young. I just do it right to the top of the stem. So that is as simple as that to just transform these guys from a dual pot into 2 individuals. The reason I do that is so that the roots can actually form a very strong bond in a single pot, and I can have a stronger root pod, and then I can individually plant my plants in the garden once the season is ready. We'll probably be planting in late May, early June. Again, here in Colorado, planting outside now is difficult. We're still in winter. We just had several inches of snow the other day. We're expecting more snow clear up into May probably. Usually Mother's Day weekend we get our final snow. And usually a week or 2 after Mother's Day we get a giant hailstorm. So I'm going to try to miss all of that this year and put everything in a little bit late. I will have some winter crops that'll go in. We'll talk about that in another video. But that is all that I have for you today. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section here in the video. Also, don't forget to click that subscribe button. Never miss a video. Make sure you have notifications turned on so that as this winter growing process goes, we can keep you up to date. Thanks for coming.